I love trilogies. Sometimes the story that needs to be told cannot be done in less than 2 hours. So I'm always a fan of a movie franchise, choosing to add more movies to explore the thing I love. Kung Fu Panda attempts to do this. They have a great run with the last two movies. So right now, I will explore if Kung Fu Panda 3 is the movie that completes a great franchise or burns it to the ground. The plot of this movie is very much like the last two. We have a villain from the past popping up and wants to destroy us in some shape or form. We have to stop them, and in the process, we obtain great lessons about who we are. I would have preferred someone from the current timeline just to spice things up, but hey, they needed a way to bring Uguay for a cameo. This movie does a great job of acknowledging the growth that Poe has had over the last movies. He is a great martial artist, so his challenge must be something slightly beyond that teaching and the supernatural. At first, I didn't like the idea, but towards the end, when Poe unlocks Chi, I get on board because they actually give him something only he can teach the Furious Five. This goes beyond the Furious Five though. Poe is a prodigy, and prodigies usually struggle to translate their knowledge to others because their method is so unique to them and comes so naturally to them. But by making Chi the thing he needs to teach, it gives him the option of being a master beyond I kick better than you. His arc is centered on the uncertainty with regards to his identity and attempting to resolve that, which is very similar to what happened in the second movie. There's this constant attempt to define who Poe is to himself. I don't mind it. I praise the last movie for staying true to its roots. But at the back of my mind, on the third installment, one expects more. And speaking of more, we have new characters. I'll focus on the two that really move the needle. One, Poe's dad. We finally meet Poe's dad, and I love it. Just purely for the fact that Poe gets some validation for his identity. He realizes that there exists a place where he, in his truest form, is the norm. It's so easy to feel ostracized when you're clearly different. I love that in this movie, people want him around. But beyond that, Poe's dad pulls the same strings that were pulled in the last film. Poe is reunited with a figure from his past, and it helps him unlock a higher version of himself. That's exactly what happened when he met Lord Shin. The one thing I wish they did was tell more about how he survived Lord Shin's attack and how he arrived at the village. Is he originally from there, or did he find it by mistake after escaping? And by the way, I don't get how pandas can do chi anymore. You're in a village secluded from the world. Like, how in the world could chi not have been passed down? That's why that twist was so annoying, because not only was it predictable, but it doesn't make sense. Look, despite my grievances with how they handle stuff, I still appreciate the effort to show us two dads coming together for the sake of their child. In our time, we do have a lot of family situations where a kid will have a step-parent, and it's beautiful to see a message of unity for the kid's sake being promoted. 2, we have Kai, who very much follows the blueprint of Tai Lung because he's a villain from the past who wants to destroy the Jade Palace and is in search of great power. At first glance, it feels uninspired. I do love that his introduction also brings us the concept of Chi. That's where he's different, and as one of the directors said, you can't go brawler because Tai Lung was a brawler. You can't go smarter because Lord Shen was smarter. So where can you go? You have to go supernatural, bigger, and even more intimidating. It's also a great comment on the dynamics around power. First, there's the old age, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Second, what is power for? Should it be used to enrich yourself and grow, or should it be used to help others? Third, too much power may overwhelm you and lead to your own destruction. His character design is probably the most physically imposing. Tai Lung looked like a cool bro. Shen looked like a regal lord. But Kai just looks like this huge figure that will dominate any and all opponents. Also, look at these blades. I love how cool they look, and I'm in love with how they facilitate this creative fighting style. His looks clearly communicate who he is. If you asked me if this was a good or bad person before I watched this movie, I would have said, yeah, that's clearly the villain of the story. J.K. Simmons does a great job of voicing Kai. He does such a good job that I forget that, oh hey, Spider-Man's biggest op is voicing this guy. This goes for the rest of the cast. Everybody holds it down, and I don't hear voices and think, that's off. It's believable, and that's all I can ever ask for from voice actors. I love how they use colors in the show. Whenever we're with the good guys, it's warm. But when Kai comes along, there's this dark, jade-colored aura that surrounds the area. Like, what a great contrast. Just look at this entrance, the clear, ominous silhouette. Whether it's Kai or the landscape, this show does an amazing job of balancing colors and composition. Every visual I see is like Po entering the village of the pandas.
Whoa.
The fighting is still top tier. I just wish that some of the fights weren't off screen. I would have loved to see some of the fights that took place against the old masters and the new masters in the mortal realm. In case you forgot, they got knocked out off screen too. What carries the fights in this movie is the inclusion of the supernatural. They go out of their way to make sure that you know that Kung Fu isn't enough. You know, just like in the last movie, even his abilities force Po to make a great sacrifice. Fights that push our protagonist to the point where he has never been before? Sign me up! And they still have this great comedy to help balance it all out and give you a laugh during these serious moments. For all my grievances, this show has some great solid moments. But at its core, it is another one, just a slight variation of the story told in the first film, and arguably a step down from the second film. But it's a perfectly good film, and if all you want is more the same, you won't be disappointed. 7.5 out of 10.